morning. Sorry the lighting is all wacky. It's because it's early in the morning and I'm driving to work. Haven't been physically into work in a week. My boss was out of town yesterday, and I was out of town last Thursday and Friday. Went to visit my parents. And my son had 3 days off of school, so I kind of stayed home with him. And I don't think my boss minded, hopefully. I still worked. I didn't do any work Friday, actually. He didn't have anything for me to do. I think probably because I had specifically asked if I could not come into the office Friday, but he might have misunderstood me because I didn't mean like I don't want to do any work, because I could still do things at my parents' house. I brought my laptop, but he was probably trying to be courteous or something. He's a good boss. He's a really good boss. Anyway, today's Tuesday. It's beautiful fall day, very windy, however. So we have all the colors going on for fall right now. And unfortunately, yesterday and today, really windy days, so I think a lot of the leaves are going to blow off. It's just how it is in the Midwest. We get wind in the spring and the fall. Some really bad windy days. We had a good weekend. Like I said, my son and I went to see my parents, and we went to a movie. We went to the Lego Ninjago movie, which was... he enjoyed it. It was okay. And those Lego movies are just crazy. And I mean, with the animation and how good it is. And then we didn't do much else. I'm trying to remember what we did. Not much else. My parents went to a wedding in town Saturday and spent the night, so we saw them on Sunday too. So, got to see them quite a bit this weekend. They are building a new house, so that's exciting. They're in their 70s and they're building a new house. But I think the house that I grew up in, that they still are living in and own, will sell for a good amount. So hopefully they'll be able to break even with that. So bright light eating, I think I'm really on like day 138 or something now. I went back and counted actually because I wanted to start recording my meals. Writing down my meals for the next day. I wanted to start doing that. Because when I start to get sloppy, I notice that things, start to go by the wayside, and it's like a bite here, a taste here. I want to try to be good still, even though I'm pretty close to goal weight, I think. I want to try to stick to some habits and routines and make them, I don't know if it'll be lifelong, but I do want to try to make some habits, healthy habits, stick. So far, the meals, eating my weighed portions, that habit has stuck. I've been through this enough days. I feel like the habit's there for me. Now, the thing that I'm struggling with, and I think everyone comes to this point, is the maintenance part, where I still want to lose maybe like 4 pounds. Be awesome. I'm not sure. I don't think it would hurt me to lose 4 or 5 more pounds. It's just like when you've never been thin in your life, you don't really know. And I've always been like a normal weight, or maybe just a little bit overweight, kind of still within the BMI healthy range for my height. I don't think I've ever been on the outside of that, but in the higher numbers, just because I just have a tendency to be that way. I mean, that's the story I've told myself my whole life, but maybe it's just because of the way I've been eating and treating my body my whole life. So these are the things you have to figure out when you're on this journey. I'm not just big boned, probably. I know that I have a tendency to get muscular. I do know that. Neither of my parents are really skinny or wayfish. I mean, honestly, they were in the 60s and 70s. They were skinny, but I think everybody else was skinny too. So you tell me what's going on now. I mean, is it the environment, pollutants, our food? That's crazy. That's something that is just, oh my gosh. If you know any good documentaries I can watch about that subject, I would like to watch them, or maybe books. Just how, like in the 70s, almost everybody was skinny, and I don't feel like people had to really try. So things have really changed. So it makes you ponder if it's what we're eating, what we're doing to our environment. I'm sure it's a combination of things: stress, screen time, sedentary lifestyle. I mean, it's a combination of things. I know it is. Anyway, what I'm saying about myself is that I feel like I've never been at my lowest set point weight for long enough to make it a set point. Okay, that sentence didn't make sense, but you get what I'm saying. So now I'm in this stage of my life where I want to make my lower weight my set point. this lower end of the scale weight for my adult years, I want to make it my set point. So it's going to take time for that to settle in, for my body to recognize that that's where I like it to stay. I think your body just wants to keep putting back on those 5 or 10 pounds, and I don't want them. It's so much better without them. Or 15, whatever it is, pounds. So, struggling with the maintenance and getting the right amount of either extra carb, protein, or fat, whatever amounts it's going to take for me to get to that more steady state. Like I said, I still want to keep seeing the scale go down. And honestly, it hasn't really been going down. Like maybe a pound in the last couple weeks. So it's really slowed down. My weight loss has really slowed down. And I'm okay with that. Even if I had to stay this weight, I would be okay with that. But I would like to see if I could lose a few more pounds. So what I have been doing is eating like a half to a whole extra portion of protein at breakfast. Breakfast is the meal that I give myself license to eat more than the female weight loss portions. For my height, my size, I'm very tall, so I give myself license to have like 2.5 scrambled eggs, or I don't know if I would go all the way to 3, but you get my point. And for the carb, for the grain, I don't know, I don't think I should be adding that at lunch or dinner yet. Now, what also is confusing me and making my brain just go, like I don't know what I'm doing, and make me feel like I don't know what I'm doing, is the fact that I've added this metabolic renewal system. And I don't think that's a bad thing, because the workouts have been going well, and I have been seeing changes in my body. More importantly, I've been seeing changes in my stress levels. The metabolic renewal system is, I think it's only for women, and it's for those of us who, have hormonal changes, or maybe you don't have hormonal changes and you just want to figure out how to eat and exercise right for different times of the month in your cycle, because your body is changing over the course of every month with hormonal levels. So with metabolic renewal, for my hormonal body type, hormonal type, I should be, in the first 2 weeks of my cycle, basically exercising more and eating more. He has this laid out like it's EM, exercise more, eat more, or EL, eat less, exercise less. So that's kind of what you do for the second half of your cycle, because your body's a little more tweaked out, stressed out from the plunging hormone levels, or I can't remember which are rising or plunging at that time. But basically in the first 2 weeks, he says add a meal, I believe. Now I need to read the book. I haven't even read the whole book yet. I'm about halfway through. But I think in the first 2 weeks you can add a meal. And to him, a meal is like a plate. I would assume it's a regular or smaller sized plate of food. Like 75% vegetables, 25% protein. And of course, within that, I think you should have some fat too. But I don't know, they don't really talk about that much. And then the carb-containing meal is like half your plate vegetables, 25 grain or carb, and 25% protein. So I think they're saying add one of those type of meals. So you would have 2 carb-containing meals and 2 vegetable and protein-only meals. And they want you to eat the carb-containing meals in the evening, like after 3 or 4 p.m. Well, that's not what I've been doing with bright line eating, and I haven't changed that. I've still been eating my grain at breakfast. So that's what's got me a little bit whacked out, just trying things, tweaking things. And I need to finish the book so that I have a grasp of what his whole concept, the big picture. So when I'm finished reading the book, maybe I will report back and give you a better understanding of how this works. But to my knowledge, that is how they want you to do it. And it does make sense. So like this week is the second week in my cycle, and I have a lot more stamina, energy. I feel like I can work out harder and better, and I don't feel as stressed out or crabby or anything like that. Whereas in the third or fourth week of my cycle, I do start to get those PMS symptoms. Not horribly, but it does make me a little less focused, for one thing, and it gives me a little bit less wanting to do things. Like sometimes I don't really even have the desire to go to work or anything, whereas like today I'm okay with it, you know, I'm okay, things are good. So I know that my hormones are like in a good place right now. So I'm almost to work, so I'll stop recording now and I'll check in with you later. Maybe I'll take a picture of my lunch so I can include